My name is Ernest Nate Benjamin. I'm from Brockton. I just did 30 years and 5 months, and I was just released about 2 weeks ago. The reason why we're conducting this interview across the river from Cambridge is because I am not allowed in the city of Cambridge. In 1995, there was an argument, a foolish argument between me and the victim of my case, and it just so happens, man, that his mother is the mayor of Cambridge.
You got a moment when they see you down, just know they love it.
Today we are off-site. Why don't you tell the people your name, where you're from, and why is it that we are shooting this episode of the Bounce Back podcast, the first one ever off-site? Talk a little bit about that, man. And thanks for coming through.
Peace, man. Thanks for having me over here, B. Luke, man. It's an honor and a privilege. My name is Ernest Nate Benjamin. I'm from Brockton. I just did 30 years and 5 months, and I was just released about 2 weeks ago. The reason why we're conducting this interview across the river from Cambridge is because I am not allowed in the city of Cambridge. Before I say anything, the first thing I want to say is, man, I want to be respectful of my victim's family. Even though I'm happy and blessed to be out after 30 years and 5 months, there's still a lot of level of sadness, due to the aspect that I took somebody's life. And also, I want to also say, man, that my heart goes out to all the families, not just in Massachusetts and all the cities in Massachusetts, man, but everywhere that lost a child or family member to violence. In 1995, there was an argument, a foolish argument between me and the victim of my case. And it just so happens, man, that his mother is the mayor of Cambridge.
The incident itself, it didn't even happen in Cambridge, correct?
It happened in Brockton.
Brockton, Massachusetts.
Yeah, it happened in Brockton, man. It didn't happen in Cambridge, it happened in Brockton. I was just told that I can't go to the city of Cambridge.
So just based off the fact that the victim's family?
She's the mayor of Cambridge, and I understand, everybody processes their feelings differently, and I understand that. But I didn't do anything in Cambridge. I didn't commit any crimes in Cambridge. You know what I'm saying? So
have you ever even been to Cambridge growing up, or how many times? I know this area, you said you never even been to this area.
Nah,
we're right on the other side of the bridge.
The only time I seen this area was watching the Red Sox do their little parade, man, But last time I've been to Cambridge, man, was probably like in the early 90s when I used to go to the Club Faces. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember that. And
no.
I used to go to this place called Ringe Towers.
North Cambridge.
North Cambridge, yeah.
Absolutely.
But like I said, man, I'm very sorry, and I wish it never happened, man. But
yeah,
all I can do now is just try my best to just take the pain and find purpose in that pain, and try to spread, man, some positivity, man.
Absolutely. So I'm just curious to how they can do that as far as like legally, right? Was that something that's like a condition of parole, condition of your release?
My condition of my parole is that I am not allowed to be around the victim's family.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Which I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? But never said that I can't go to Cambridge.
Right.
But I don't know.
So was that something that was from the judge? Where did you get how did you find out that you were banned from Cambridge?
So when I got out, it was told to me and my lawyer that I am not allowed in the city of Cambridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that?
I just didn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand it. Every time like I get near Cambridge, I get paranoid, because I don't want to cause no problems to nobody.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For nobody. Including myself.
Life parole, right? I mean, talk about being on lifetime parole and what kind of comes with that as far as like mentally, that paranoia's got to be part of it, man.
Well, I gotta understand. I got a very understanding parole officer. Like, he don't give me no breaks, but he's fair, and so I'm able to communicate with him. I know that if I do something wrong, he ain't gonna play no games with me.
Mm-hmm.
But being on parole is just like, I got a bracelet on, and it's like I got a curfew. And sometimes my family, you know, they're like, wow, we can't really do many things with you like we really want to. But I got a curfew, I cannot drink, and I cannot smoke, but I don't do that anyways. And basically, that's about it, really.
Do you ever have dreams of messing up, like on lifetime parole and going back, or what's that like, man?
Nah, B. Luke, I don't never have dreams about going back, because the only thing I do have dream about is being successful, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I do have dreams, man, and maybe we'll get into that later, but it's nothing to do with that. The only dreams I got, man, is about finding ways and how I can help my community, and I can deter others from making the terrible choices that I made. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing, you know, that I can correlate to the dreams that I have, man.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the process of you getting out, right? What was your original sentence? Were you doing a natural life sentence? Talk a little bit about that and what changed.
Yeah, so I was doing a natural life sentence on the theory of extreme atrocity and cruelty. And extreme atrocity and cruelty, they just said that you're going to be doing natural life. And you're never gonna get out, you know? At first, it didn't really hit me, man, you know what I'm saying? But then when I started, man, seeing, you know, my friends, my colleagues, man, one by one going home, it started to hit me. And then when I started to see, you know, some of my family members and loved ones pass away, it hit me, you know what I'm saying? And so then in 2000, I think it was 2021 or 20, there was a case in Massachusetts called Mattis. And in the Mattis case, it stated that the brains in adolescent males do not fully develop until they're 21. And so they had what they call an evidentiary hearing. And so there was a long process that took about 4 years. And then in 2024, the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts, the highest court, they stated they agreed. And about 206, maybe, individuals in Massachusetts were able to, you know, basically, man, have an opportunity to see parole. It took a long time to get to that process to go to parole. I was granted a great parole lawyer. She's also my mentor, Lisa Newman Polk. And I went to parole this past April. At one time, man, I would give my left hand and my right arm to just have an opportunity to come home, man. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard that, I remember I was walking from my prison job, and I seen somebody in the hallway, and he just hugged me, and he couldn't say anything. And so then I went back and I made a phone call, and my paid attorney had told me that the law passed. And then I remember I went upstairs, put the sheet on my cell door, and I'm gonna keep it real with you, I just got on my knees and started crying, man. You know, because all I want to do is just turn my rights into my wrongs into rights, man. And so then, man, it was a feeling that I never thought would ever happen, man. And I'm just appreciative and humble to be able to sit here right now as a man who is out in the world.
And I appreciate you coming through. So you had said with this ruling, they had said that the brain was not developed until about 21 years old. So talk a little bit about, like, how old were you when all this went down, man? Like when you caught your case.
So what happened was I was 20 years old in a couple of months. And so things kind of, I was already on the train. I was already on the train getting ready to fall off the track before that, man, you know what I'm saying? Meaning that, you know, 18 months prior to that on the same street, in the same situation, and me and an individual had words, and that individual came back and threw battery acid on me. And yeah, so I carried a grim reminders of scars and things of that nature. And so after that happened, like even before that, I guess I had aspects of post-traumatic stress disorder, but I didn't understand, because back in the day, nobody knew what was up with that. And so I remember after that situation that happened, I was in the hospital for like 8 months, and things were going on in my body, my mind. Because now I'm like 17 years old, I didn't understand. So, you know, being a young black male, you know, that machoism, whatever it may be, it's like, you know, you don't want to talk about that shit, you know what I'm saying? So you know, as I was going through it mentally, emotionally, physically, and I did what most individuals probably did back then, was look for the shortcut, and I went back to the streets because at the time, man, that's all I knew. And so the night before, a gun was put on me, and like I said, I was already disturbed, and so I ended up going to my house, and in going to my house, it was said that the victim was over there, because arrogantly and ignorantly, I thought that a street was mine. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing ours. You know what I'm saying?
Long before you.
And it's gonna be there forever before when I'm dead and gone.
No doubt.
And so I'm over here trying to claim streets, man. How atrocious and foolish is that? And so I'm over there, and the next day I goes down there, and me and the victim starts arguing, and the victim tells me he gonna come back and kill me. He said, "I'm gonna wet you up, nigga." And they don't use that term no more, excuse my language, but where I come from, because I've been a victim of a violent crime, I had mad things happen to me, stabbed, burnt, shot, all that stuff. And so, you know, and I'm already going through undiagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm not trying to make excuses because I was wrong. And then one thing led to another, and I snapped. I even put the gun in my head and tried to, but then I took off. I was on the run. So that's what happened.
So a little bit about the battery acid, right? Like what you said, words were exchanged, man. Like what? Like how deep were these words for someone to take it to that extent, or do you think it was more just like the person's mental state? Like that's kind of an extreme to go to, right? Like especially in the streets, like this shooting stab. You know what I mean? That's kind of a little different.
So what happened was I carried a scar right here, you know, and all that. But so what happened was, man, like I was young, and I'm out there in the street, and the individual, man, told me, man, he wanted to hustle for me. So I gave him $600 worth of crack, and I told him bring me back $400. And so he's an older dude, I'm young. So I gave it to him, and then I did it the second time, and then he took off with my money. And so, you know, we young, we got that pride issue, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to take no shorts, we don't want none of that, you know what I mean? And so, man, I got...
you take one, the next person gonna try.
But I'm not condoning it.
Not at all.
I'm not condoning selling drugs out there, y'all.
Exactly, you wouldn't be in that situation to have to defend yourself.
I'm not gonna come on this and try to condone or kick war stories and none of that shit.
Lose-lose situations. I say try to stay out of it. That's unfortunately was your reality, man.
So we got it shaking, me and the individual, and then his relative, me and him got it shaking. And then he said he was gonna come back, the same exact words. And I remember, you know, I'm sitting there talking to a couple of people. And I remember I had a bottle cap and I was playing with the cap. You know those very fine apple juice bottles, and you know the cap? Yeah, so I was just sitting there, and he had a bottle in his hand and he just threw it on me, and my clothes just started to disintegrate. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't see. And I remember when I was in the ambulance, and I was in so much pain. It was a pain that I never felt before. And I said I wanted to die, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to die, you know, and it hurt me immensely, man. And I think today, man, the wounds inside are more than the wounds outside, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so like, when that situation happened, a lot of things died in me, you know? And it took a lot of therapy, EMDR, counseling, and also some good men behind the wall to help me self-reflect and deal with that pain, man. You know what I'm saying?
So, tell the people, just to remind us again, how long it is you've been out, and like, what are some things you've been up to since you've been out? I saw there was something with the news or something.
So, man, I only been out like 3 weeks. Rome was only built in it wasn't built in one day or one night. You know what I'm saying? But I've always been like a go-getter. And so what I've been up to, man, is basically, man, just trying to I've been going to school. I've been going to Tufts University, a beautiful program. And I just been trying to build relationships with my family, who I love very much, and my close friends and associates, man, that are positive. Doing a lot of eating, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of looking at life from a different lens, man. I had a couple of breakdowns. I went to the beach and I cried. Because, like I said, man, when they say life without parole, man, that means life without parole most of the time. And so I've been doing that, and then I've been getting up with a couple fellas, man, because, I want to give back to my community. And so, in a few, weeks, or so, I'm going to start, going to where I was from and giving back, It's funny, a couple of days ago, me and another good friend of mine, he'd been out for about 4 years, so we sitting in his office, and he made a phone call in a particular city, and he was telling him or her that, we want to go out there and do it justice. And they had nothing for us. They had nothing to say. And so he's talking about, you got kids out there dying, right? And you ain't got no answers for us, And so I'm saying to myself, like, damn, when they wanted to lock our black asses up, they were quick to do that. But now the same black asses that they were locked up, that were doing crazy things out there, now want to do great things, meaningful things, purposeful things, man, to enrich and build the community that we once a problem, and now we want to be the solution. And so, man, that's what I've been up to, bro.
Absolutely. What's been like the biggest adjustment that you've made to growth? Like, so maybe the toughest adjustment since you've been home?
Technology. You know what I'm saying? Like the phones, and I don't even be jacking. Like, I'm from Boston originally, and Brockton, and I noticed that where I'm at, like the places where I'm at, it don't look the same no more. So I don't even know where I'm at half the time. You know what I'm saying? I would have been lost like about 3 or 4 times already. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I noticed. I noticed that there's not a lot of common courtesy. Nobody opens doors for elders or for women. I noticed that a lot of people smoke weed everywhere you go. That's some of the things that I've noticed, man. The cars are different.
Yeah, very much so.
You can get in, you listen to any song you want,
Okay. So other than, pulling up and being on the Bounce Back podcast, a wonderful platform, so what's been the highlight, since your release, man? What is like some...
Well, one thing is not a highlight is I didn't get to hug my son, you know what I'm saying? But we'll talk about that later. But I think the highlight, man, is the day that I stepped off that car. Oh, yeah, also in the news, man. The WBUR, they did a little thing on me.
Yeah.
But
so talk about that. Talk about the WBUR. Like, how does that happen for you? Is that something that you
So they followed me. Basically, they came to the prison to talk to me. They came to my hearing, and then they followed me when I was coming home.
Oh, okay. So they've been involved.
And they've been involved. I'm a very transparent person.
Yeah.
And so they did a story, and I think there's more to me, and there's more to a multitude of others, and hopefully someday that will happen. But they did a beautiful story, and they followed me home.
How does that make you feel about yourself that they would care enough to do that, man? It's got to be a pretty good feeling, especially being away for so long. I bet at some point you felt like no one ever cared.
Yeah, because, man, I'm coming from a time where my own mother said I was no good, you know what I'm saying? So You know, I love my mom, God rest her soul, but one time, man, you know, I felt like, yo, like, if she don't give a shit about me, nobody does. And now, like, I got people who have taken the time to really, man, believe in me. My lawyer, you know, and countless, my family, you know, my shout out to my sister, my cousin who I call my sister, you know, a great number of people, man, you know, some good people in the church, just some great people. And so when they take that time and really show that real care and thoughtfulness, it really, like, I've changed 100%, but it really shows true humanity.
Yeah.
And it allows you to open up more and trust more. Where we come from an environment where we don't trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned the church, right? You're doing school as well, man.
Yeah.
How important is it to have, like, such a support system like that?
Well, if you don't have a support system, man, it's gonna be difficult, man. If you think you're just gonna get out here and just wing it, it ain't gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a support system. You know what I mean? Because, man, just because I've been out here and I seem like I got it all together, there's times where I need a shoulder. You know, my sister, man, I done cried on her shoulder a couple of times, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, my man, I done cried on his shoulder. My own brother, man. Sometimes, man, he look up to me, but sometimes you know what I mean? So it's hard, man, you know, so you need that support system. You need faith, you know what I'm saying? And you need to really be able to utilize the positive and motivating people, places, and things. You know, a lot of those programs in prison, you know, I took over 100 of them, right? And I utilize all those programs. And there's also some great men in prison that helped me, and some of them are still back there, and some of them are no longer alive, but they help motivate me, man.
Do you have a favorite program that you did in prison, and why?
There's so many, man, but one program that I did, and one time I was a director of training, it was Second Thoughts. And what we did was we talked to at-risk youth, DYS, at the time when DYS was able to come in. And I worked with Conan Harris and Tommy Kuntz, a brother named Fuquan, Sean Ellis, and a great number of other brothers, man. And we were able to mentor these young men that were in DYS. And then we ended up mentoring men that were behind the wall, man. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it impacted me. I thought I was helping them, but I was also helping myself, man, you know.
So we've seen some people get out, you know, on life parole and doing great things with themselves. So, you know, a lot of times society likes to judge and they think maybe people can never change. So, like, what's something that, you know, maybe the public should know about giving people the opportunity to come home on life parole? Because you know what, it's like it could take just one person to come out and mess it up for everybody. So talk a little bit about that, and do you feel like it's on you to maybe set the foundation too for the people still inside that you are talking about to do the right thing and not be that person, you know, that could possibly ruin it for those guys in there?
If I may, first I want to plug in, I got a YouTube podcast channel. I'm gonna restart it. Beautiful things come from struggle. Yo, man, I wish that society, the taxpayer, they had someone that could just go into the prisons with a hidden camera and really see what really the hell goes on up in there. Because, man, sometimes I think that the media, they just get a warped perception of what really goes on, because there's a multitude of men who have really sincerely changed their life, man. Really, man. Now, of course, there's probably some dudes in there, they don't give a shit. But there's really some good men in there. They made bad decisions, and that's something that they gotta live with. That's something between them and their God. But there's some beautiful men in there that really are growing, and they're helping make a change and paying their debt to society behind the wall. But if society, as a totality, was able to see the work that's being done in the prison systems with these men, I think that the perception would change a lot. You know what I'm saying? But it seems that a lot of people, they want to profit off the demise of our people. And I'm not just saying that like it's just like a black thing. or a Latino thing or an Asian thing, but also there's some poor Caucasians behind the wall too. And so, man, I would say, man, that we need a more transparent system where individuals like from the public can really see what goes on behind the wall and see these men in true time, because they say the true making of a person is when the light is off, not when the light is on. You know what I'm saying? If you shut the light off, you don't know what the person's doing. You know what I'm saying? And so it is like in prison, like they're still doing the same thing. You know? Like I had a cellie, you know, shout out to Daoud, man. And beautiful human being, man. He's see parole soon. And we pray, we make salat, whatever. And this brother was waking up in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, man. And he was making prayer. You know what I'm saying? But it's, you know, some people in society are probably like, oh, he's an animal because he killed somebody. And I'm not saying it was right what he did. That's between him and God. Or, you know, Zachary Ibrahim Bush, or, you know, Denny Zulu, these brothers that got all, or Glenn Williams, or all these other brothers, man, you know, Sean Eller, all these brothers, man, that were in prison that helped me. Tommy Kuntz and Conan Harris and Danny Curtis, you know, Eugene I, all these brothers, man, they helped me. So there's a whole bunch of those behind the wall. You know, Fuquan, and Free Fuquan, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so I think that the society needs to see that, man.
Okay, so talk about the education process, right? You're going, where are you going to school now? And talk about the whole process of how you got there. Did you even go into prison with a high school diploma?
So that's ill, man. That's ill, bro. So when I was coming up, man, you know, my mother used to always tell me that I would never be shit, that I would never do nothing, that I was dumb, all of that. And so going to school, like, I would give up easy. You know what I'm saying? Like going to college, man, like was like far-fetched. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, man, I'll never do that shit, man. And so, man, when I got but I always liked to read books because I had a couple of teachers that were interested in me, man. Marvin Rudenstein, you know, a couple of others, man. And so I ended up, man, one day, man, I was in Walpole, and I had a visit. And so I didn't want my son to see the cuffs coming off me. And so I went to the visit, and they took the cuffs off. And he said, Daddy, I thought you was in school when I was in prison. And so then right then and there, man, I went back to my cell, and I'm gonna keep it real, I'm ashamed to say, but I tried to kill myself, and I didn't succeed, right? And then I said, yo, I gotta change. But I didn't know how to change, you know what I'm saying? And so then, man, I ended up, man, you know, making a promise that I was gonna do something. And so eventually I ended up going to Norfolk, and I started going to get my GED. It took me like 3 times to get the GED. And I remember one time I missed by 1 point, and the teacher, Dennis, I can't remember his last name, I was like, man, I'm done with this shit. He was like, what, are you gonna quit all your life? And so the next time, man, I ended up, man, getting my GED, and then I ended up becoming a part of Partakers. And I met a team of beautiful people, man.
Okay, so explain that for those who don't know.
So Partakers is a program run by a good brother named Arthur Benberry. And what they do is they go to churches and other places, and they get you sponsors, and they pay for your classes. So I had classes at Colorado State, Adams State, so on and so forth. And I was doing these things by mail, you know what I'm saying? Correspondence courses and stuff. And then after you get a certain amount of credits, you were able to enter BU. But then that stopped. So then I had to take the test. You had to pay $10. And so I failed the test like 8 times, literally. And then the 8th time I passed it, and I became a Boston University student.
So when you say that stopped, why? Was it COVID or funding?
Nah, just that they made the rules different. Like they now, it didn't matter about credits. You needed to take the exam and pay for the exam. You know what I'm saying? And so, and now I'm in a beautiful program called Tuppet out of Tufts University. You know, shout out to Hillary Bender, you know, and Dave. You know what I'm saying? And I got it the second day. I went the second day I was out.
Yeah.
You know, here I am, 30 years, 5 months in prison, and the second day I'm going to school on a college campus, and everything is going like 99 miles per hour. It was crazy. But very overwhelming, man. You know, the computer class is hard. I don't even know how to do the computers, really, but I'm not going to give up, man.
Well, if you're doing something hard, that usually means you're doing something right.
Absolutely. We don't want nothing easy.
Never that. Easy way out is never that. So, what are you looking forward to as far as continuing with your education? What's the goal? Like, where you at as far as like a degree, getting associates?
Well, right now I'm just trying to live day by day, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, day by day. I just want to get my associate's degree, but I want to use my education. I want to just use my life as a whole, man, to just give back, man. You know what I'm saying? Just giving back, man. Like I don't never want. It just hurts me when I hear a mother cry. It hurt me to know all of the hurt and pain, right? And I'm not jacking you, homie, that I caused another family, man. You understand what I'm saying? And so, man, all I want to do is just be able to just learn, look, listen, learn, and reflect, and go forth with trying to, man, create a platform, you know what I'm saying, where I could be in that I could be that spoken will to bring effective change, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense to you, bro.
It makes plenty of sense. I'm curious because I've been going through this myself a little bit of how you deal with maybe this guilt that comes with the harm that we may have caused people.
Yo, the guilt is crazy. Like, it's not a day that when I went to parole, man, that was probably one of the toughest things I ever had to do. You know, here I am, like 279 pounds, man, and I'm breaking down crying, big dude, crying, man, right there, just hit me. And then hearing my family and my friends and my supporters talk great about me, and then hearing my opposition, you know, talk about me, you know what I'm saying? You know, knowing about the pain, and still, this is 30 years, and the pain that I still put this beautiful woman through, you know what I'm saying? By taking her son's life. But that shit is real. And so that's why, man, I hope, man, that, you know, I know that we don't live in a perfect world, but, you know, that these young men out there, that they, man, begin to think with some consequences, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like my man told me, man, my man Mike, good brother, he told me, man, that God doesn't judge you for your past, he judges you for your present and your future. And I just try to remind myself, but sometimes, man, it's hard, man. Mm-hmm. But you know, I got a forever apology. Yeah. And yo, man, the only thing I can do is just do the right thing, man. You know, whether it's opening the door for somebody or a kind word, man. In Islam, it says, man, that the best form of charity is a kind word and a smile, man. And that's what I try to do, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, like, listen, man, like, when my life was crazy in the beginning, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. You know, I went through every single form of violence you can think of, man. And I'm sitting here today, and I'm at peace, man. At least trying to achieve peace, you know? And so I just want to be a testament, like a lot of other brothers I've encountered, man, that you can do this, that we can do this. You know what I'm saying?
So why is it important for the parole board to give, you know, lifers a chance, man? Why do you think that that's important?
Well, first and foremost, I think that the parole board, they have a tough job. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, at first, man, I ain't gonna lie, it's like, man, F the parole board. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, F them. But as I began to mature and understand how it works, they got a difficult job, man. Just imagine you being on the board and you want to cater to the family and you want to cater to the victim's family and the citizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So they got to make the decisions that's right. You know what I'm saying? And so the only thing I wish that the parole board would do is just have maybe, man, have an individual, man, who was formerly incarcerated on the board. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who was formerly incarcerated, like they have in Rhode Island. You know what I'm saying? somebody who could view, who knows what's up, you know what I'm saying?
So explain that. In Rhode Island, they have somebody.
Well, I heard they had somebody that did 10 years, and now he's on the board, you know what I'm saying? And so, if you want to know a system, you got to have somebody that knows the system to tell the system, you know what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely.
it's like, why we keep putting a circle peg in a rectangle peg?
Yeah.
When we could get a circle peg to put in a circle hole.
I think that's a phenomenal idea. I feel like someone like that could relate to context, right? Of like when they look up maybe your tickets in prison or jail and see a fight, right?
Yeah.
And then they can kind of see like sometimes it's
Yeah.
unavoidable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I don't think the parole board gets that like that. You know what I mean? I mean, I think that's a great idea. But why do you think that's a great idea?
I just think it's a great idea, man, because, man, like, it's like we need people who understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's even some of the groups in prison. Like, they got some people that don't know what it's like, man, to open a refrigerator and have welfare cheese and some baking soda in there. They don't know what it's like, man, to have a mother that's out there selling a body. They know what it's like, man, to have 2 brothers murdered on the streets. They know what it's like, man, that when you turn the light on, you got cockroaches running all over the place. They don't know what it's like, man, when you gotta pick out, man, the mold out of the bread. They don't know what it's like, man, to drink water and put sugar in it to make it be like Kool-Aid. So, in order to have somebody to understand, they would have to understand that life. And some of these programs are like that too. They got people who don't know what it's like.
Right.
They just know what the textbook tells them.
Right.
So I would think it would be imperative to have somebody that knows the system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or knows what it's like to be formerly incarcerated. Because that's the way problems are fixed. That's my opinion.
Absolutely. I think it's similar to the people in recovery too, man, because I feel like a lot of times the people who actually went through addiction and stuff like that are probably better, more relatable, and you just want to listen more too, maybe being a newcomer, because you don't have that easy out of, oh, they don't know. And then you know what I mean? Even if it's just mentally easy out for you to be like, they don't know, and then just give up right away, man. So
and everybody thinks, nobody likes to be like constructive. Nobody believes in constructive criticism. Like, constructive criticism was difficult for me to comprehend, man. But now I understand, you know what I mean? And so by taking constructive criticism, it's helped me grow a lot, you know what I mean? But I'm still under construction, don't get it twisted.
Oh, it's
man,
always a work in progress, bro. So Nate, we're gonna bring it back a little bit, man. Let's rewind it to the childhood, right? You said originally from Boston, moved to Brockton. Talking a little bit about, I guess, what's the home dynamic like, right? Did you have both parents in the house, and how do you go from Boston to Brockton, and like what part of Boston?
Then in Boston, then Stoughton, and then Brockton. So what happened was my father's from Boston/Florida, and my mama, she's from Stoughton, and my father ended up somehow going to Stoughton and meeting my mom, and then they had me, and I got two other brothers, and I got another brother in Florida and a sister. And so the family dynamics, man, is like, in the 80s, man, it was uncommon to have a mixed race kid. So my mother's white, my father's black, and I remember going to school, and that was the first word I heard coming from the kid's mouth was nigger. You know what I'm saying? And so I remember because I didn't know who I was. In fact, I didn't even know who I was until I was like 27 years old. But back to that, so when I would go home from school, and I would say, Mama, where am I? And she just would say, you're coughing. You know what I'm saying? And during that time, man, my dad, man, he was like 6'6", like 400, and he used to beat us. You know what I'm saying? Just beat the shit out of us, man. Don't get it too. I love my daddy, man, but it doesn't. Sometimes there's no textbook of being a parent. You know what I mean? And my mom, like, she didn't really like. I could count on my hands how many times, like, she ever gave me a hug or kissed me, you know what I'm saying? And so, man, my mother, man, was a victim of domestic violence as well, you know what I'm saying? And so, my daddy, he tried to, even though it was that in the household, man, he tried, like, he did a good job in providing. We had a house, We had a backyard, and we had all that. But then once my daddy died, you know, we ended up moving to Beverly City section of Brockton. And that's when my mother started abusing crack cocaine. Right next door to our house was the crack spot. And I remember all the friends used to clown me because my mom was smoking crack. And I used to say, yo, mama, man, look at all these kids. And the same kids that was making fun of my mother, they was getting high with my mother. They was coming up, you know what I'm saying? And so she was in relationships, being abused. And then I ended up fighting the guys that she was with. And ended up being a part of the DYS, DSS system.
So, I mean, being a child and kind of experiencing that, right? I mean, is that something like, do you start to internalize that? What's going through your brain on like, why is he doing this to someone that loves me? Why is he hitting me? Why is he hitting my mom? Or is it something more like you try not to think about at that age? And I'm sure it's a tough thing to process being a kid. I mean, do you remember?
I really, man, I don't think at that time I was able to comprehend totally. You know what I'm saying? Because I experienced other forms of abuse as well at that time. So I was I was just going through a whole bunch of trauma, but I didn't understand what was going on. And so all I tried to do was find escape in He-Man toys and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But I think I really didn't get help in dealing with all of that stuff until I was like 29, 30. And then just recently, like 18 months, I've been doing EMDR, and I found peace with everything, you know? Because I've been determined not to allow my past to destroy my present and my future, man, you know what I'm saying?
So what does that stand for?
Eye movement desensitization response, you know what I'm saying? And so like, I don't really like the drugs and all that. And so just hold on to these paddles and deliver trauma. You know, most people, they want to put a Band-Aid on a wound that requires stitches. But EMDR, you care for that wound. So we deal with trauma not on the surface level, but jump right into it. And you know, I told you I have severe post-traumatic stress disorder, and I went from having like 3 to 4 night terrors, right? You know what I'm saying, to having maybe 1 or 2 a month, if that. You know what I'm saying? You know, shit gets deep. You urinate on yourself, all types of shit, man. You know, some people don't want to talk about this shit, but I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I respect you, and I respect the platform, and I'm not ashamed because I'm a real man and I'm a strong man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the truth is the truth, you know? There's nothing to be ashamed about it.
Yeah, man.
My thing I always say on here is like, it is what it is. Like, what's next? There's no time machine. There's nothing like that, man. And we only have this one life moving forward, so we can't dwell neither. You know, we gotta do right by God by giving us this chance, right? You sitting there feeling, living in your guilt, you know, 100% of the time. We're not doing right by God for giving us this chance, and you especially dealing with all that. So, I mean, talk a little bit about how you were in school, right? That the violence going on at home, is that something that you ever brought into school? Did you start getting violent with other children, or even
I was violent in school because at first, you know, when you're young, like I was a very sensitive kid, and so I would go home crying, and I was taught, my daddy would tell me, go home, go to school and pick up a brick. You know what I'm saying? And so I started fighting in school, and then when I was in Brockton, I really had to learn how to be street smart, and so I felt like the only way to get respect was through violence, man. You know what I'm saying? Which is wrong. You know what I'm saying? We need to do the best that we can to teach our children and our loved ones that communication is the key. Sometimes you got to defend yourself physically, but that should be the last resort. You feel me?
So, growing up in Brockton, right, that's a city known for literally like heavyweight champions of the world. So was like physical street violence, was that very prevalent, just being like a tough fighting kind of city where there are a lot of fights growing up between like friends and stuff like that?
Yeah, so Brockton, it's kind of almost like Boston, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so Brockton, man, what it is, man, is I used to box actually, you know what I'm saying? And you know, shout out to my favorite boxer ever, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, so it's just like, yo, like back in the day, that's how problems were solved. You just shoot the ones. But then, man, in the 90s, the hand game kind of slowed down. It was more about the gun game. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same in every hood, man. And it, you know, Eric B. and Rakim got a little chorus of a song from the ghetto. It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at, man. And so, man, it's all the same, you know. But back in those days, man, you know, I'm not trying to glorify, you know what I'm saying, nothing, but I was proficient with the hand game, you know what I'm saying. But obviously that didn't solve me nothing, you know what I'm saying.
How much of that was in the ring? Like, how far did you go with the boxing?
Silver mittens.
Silver mittens?
Yeah.
Okay, and how old when you just got into it? Into boxing?
So I got into it, man.
Silver mittens.
So I got into boxing, man, through this white dude named Dave Myerscough back in the day, and I just fell in love with it. And then I used to go to this church when I was a kid called Full Gospel Tabernacle in Brockton. And Marvin Hagler's mother used to go there. And Marvin Hagler's brother named Robbie Sims used to go there. And Robbie Sims took me, he mentored me. And I started going to the gym, and one thing led to another. And then I started boxing and training and going to different places, Lewiston, Maine, and Cumberland, Rhode Island, and all these places. But then the streets took over. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. Those dreams faded away.
You said you had fell in love with it, man. Like, what about it was some things that you loved about boxing?
The money, I guess. I was tired of man being broke, you know what I'm saying? Marvin Hagler, Mike Tyson, you know, Vinny Pazienza, Muhammad Ali. Yo, these are my heroes, man. You know what I'm saying? Even Rocky Marciano, they were my heroes. And so, man, I felt like, man, like I wanted to be like them. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to jack them, you know what I mean? You know, and I remember, man, I watched Rocky over 1 trillion times, man. You know what I'm saying? Rocky 4 is the dopest ever, you know what I'm saying, bro? And so, like, and it gave me a sense because, like I told you, man, I was very insecure all the time, but boxing, for some reason, gave me that security, man. You know, that's because that was what Nate boxed, Nate da-da-da-da, you know. But, you know, like I said, those dreams and those aspirations faded away because, you know, I almost lost my life, and then, you know, the streets was there and they were alluring to me, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think it was somewhat of an outlet, like the training for everything that's going on at home, kind of an escape?
I think so. I think it was an escape at the time, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, like, you know, boxing wasn't giving me sneakers to go to school.
Yeah.
You know, boxing wasn't putting food in my mouth, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm not saying that you know, if you got your dreams, you know, whether it's being a boxer or a football player, whatever you want to do, you know what I'm saying, stay with that, man. Yeah. But for me, you know, at the time, man, like I wasn't as strong mentally as I should have been as a kid because I didn't believe in me totally, you know what I'm saying? And I know that sounds like a little bit of contradictory, but even though I was good at it and stuff, like, I was looking for that shortcut because I didn't have no foundation. Yeah. And like I told you, I didn't really figure out who I was until I was like 27 years old.
Did you learn any lessons during the time training and fighting for boxing? Life lessons that you look at and use today? I
just learned that you got to be tenacious. If you want something, you got to go out and get it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, so if you want to win that round, or if you want to win that match, or if you want to win that title, you got to just go out and get it, and by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? You got to get out there and jog 5 in the morning. You got to hit that rope. You got to do whatever it needs to be, whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, whatever I try to do now is by any means necessary. I know, man, there's going to be things that I want to do in life, and I know that I'm going to be labeled. I know that some doors are going to be shut, but I have to go about this shit with tenacity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I go try to, you know, get with people that could give me the door open to help my community. They may shut that door. So through my boxing, you know, history and learning about it, the sport and what it taught me, I have to be tenacious and create my own lane. You know what I'm saying? Sure. You know, nobody's gonna give us nothing. Nobody gave you anything. And now you have a successful you know what I'm saying, podcast.
I appreciate that. Absolutely. And I'm hopefully that it
Try to
can
tell my son
inspire
this.
other people, man. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
free Susu, man.
Yeah, free the real,
For sure. So let's talk a little bit. You had mentioned DYS, right? So is it you had got locked up in Juvenile?
Yeah, I've been to DYS a bunch of times.
So where did you go at that time?
I
Was
went
it
to
the Brockton
Rosendale,
Y?
Brockton Y.
Okay.
Shout out to my man Eugene Ivy, aka Spot.
Mhm.
That was one of my cellmates in DY. I love
Wow.
the brother, good man.
Wow.
Challenge. You know, I did the tour.
Yeah.
I think I went to Castle Raphael, Hillside.
So you were doing the
I was
run-
both
no.
Metro and Southeast regions, you know what I mean?
Okay, so I mean, seems like you've been a few places even as a juvenile. Why do you think it was that like that didn't deter you from getting in more trouble? Was it just not enough time? Was it?
I just
still
think
being
that
young?
I just think, and I'm not trying to make no excuses, but I just think we didn't have, man, the real black men or the real men, period, to just come into the facility and give us that real talk, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we was, you know what I'm saying, like I think that's what's needed.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, man, you got people that will talk to dudes, but dudes ain't gonna jack them because who are you to tell me what you want? You don't know what it's like to live that life. So I think if it was those individuals back in that time, in that era, I think that it could have probably helped me out a lot, but it didn't. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, I ain't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? At one time I only had 2 pairs of underwear. One time, man, you know what I'm saying? I had to use newspaper for toilet paper. I had to take a bath with palm, what's that soap that they use to wash dishes?
Palm olive. Yeah.
So you want to take something, but what you gonna give me? You know what I'm saying?
So at what point does becoming a father become part of your story?
So first and foremost, man, I love my son to death. But man, I wasn't ready to be father. Man, I was a mess. Like I told you, I was a train off the track. And one day, man, I was told that I was gonna be a father. And so I had no clue what to do, how to do it. And next thing I know, I'm being called and I go to the hospital and my son's there.
So how old were you when your son was born?
I was 19 years old, man.
19, man.
Yeah, 19, man.
So just talk a little bit about what's going through your head when you hear that news, like, oh, you're gonna be a father. Like, were you shocked? How did you feel about it?
I really can't really describe the emotions or the feelings, man. You know what I'm saying? I just was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time of my life, man, I was living day by day. I didn't even think I was gonna live that long. You know what I'm saying? But I loved the idea of being a father. But I didn't know how to be a father. Shit, I didn't even know how to be a man. I wasn't even a good man at that time.
Do you think a big part of not knowing was what happened with your father passing?
I think it was a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of things, man. You know. But I know that when my son was born, I loved holding him. You know, I took baths with him. You know what I'm saying? All of that. I love my son, man. And I only got to spend time with him until he was 6 months old, and then one time since he was 5 years old. And since then, I haven't seen him, and he's 30 years old now.
So when was the last time that you seen him? I saw there was a picture of you guys. Was that the last time?
The last time I saw my son, man, was in 2001.
2001?
Yeah,
when
man.
He came to visit you?
Yeah, he came to visit me, man. Yeah.
Do you remember where you were at?
I was at Old Colony Correctional Center, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, eventually, your son starts to get older, get locked up. You start hearing news about him getting in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you start to feel about that? Do you start to feel guilty about
I was feeling guilty. I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I wish that I could have took all the pain and all the anger and everything that he was going through internally and externally. I wish I could have took all of that and not let him take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been through so much, man. You know, and then to hear that what he was doing, he was like he's well respected. Everybody knows Susu, Free Susu. Everybody knows my son. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to hear what I was hearing. You know what I mean? But I understand too, man, that yo, man, you in prison, you gotta survive. You know what I'm saying? You can't be weak. You know, that's why, man, it's so imperative, man, that we tell these young men and young women there's consequences to actions. But when I was hearing about my son in prison and how he was wilding out and all that, I mean, that shit hurt me, man. You know what I'm saying? You know? And now he's locked up and I'm out. And so now I gotta wait another 3 years to hug my son for the first time in over 30 years.
So Susu was on the platform before you had actually called in during that interview?
Yeah, that was lit, right? Yeah,
you're the first person to call from the inside and then get out. Unfortunately, it's like I've spoken to like a few lifers, but you're out. But I guess, you know, a lot of people might want to know what's going on. Is there an update on Susu? Last we heard.
Hold on. Hey, yo, bro. Yeah, so Susu, man, right?
I heard there was a news thing and, you know, the feds were involved or something, man.
Yeah, so, man, he was doing good out there for a while. You know, I didn't really know much what was going on because I'm in the bank.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he had 2 children. I got 2 beautiful grandsons. You know, and you know, 2 beautiful grandsons, and he had a house and everything. And I was like, yo, you working? He's like, yeah, Pops, I'm working. And, you know, next thing I know, man, he gets caught up, man, in a Fed case. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so, man.
Is that something that he's still going to court for?
No, he got sentenced. He pled out right away, and he started his time, man.
Okay.
You know
so how many more years until, you know, God
3
willing?
years, God willing.
3 more years, okay.
Yeah, 3 more years. Yeah.
So, like, what's going through, like, your mind when you find out about the whole Fed situation, man? It's like, damn, man, like...
Yo, man, my heart dropped, man, and I started crying, man, because, man, I wanted him to be there when I came home. Because I already see my uncle, man, you know, he was like my best friend. He passed away. Mm-hmm. Uncle Marshall, I love you. And Shambra, you know, they're gone. Yeah. And so my son, I wanted to see him out there, and my son's locked up.
Yeah. So, you know,
not to take away from the beautiful people I have in my life.
Absolutely. And you know, a lot of us, especially with, you know, dads being away, you know, a lot of us turn into, you know, troubled kids and start acting out in different ways. But Susu is a good dude, man.
Oh,
so
real,
despite what, you know, maybe all the bad stuff he might have gone through, like what's some things that you're proud about?
I'm proud that he's not an absent father. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He cares about his sons. You know, that he spent time with them. You know, I'm proud that my son is a real man. He's a true man. And he stands on business, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That he's not soft, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's not stupid neither. You know what I mean? And he's a part of me, and I love him. But I love my son, right? But I love all these young men out here. Mm-hmm. I encounter young men all the time. I don't even know them, and I love them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because they reflect our children are a reflection of us and other children out there, young men out there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
So let's talk a little bit about, you get this sentence, right? You hear natural life sentence. Like, how does that feel, man? What's going through your brain?
So
when your heart must drop, like.
So when I got that natural life sentence, man, you know, I turned my back, and I seen my good friend, my Yvonne and Jessica, Concepcion, I see them, and then I turned around, and then my legs felt wobbly like I just got hit with a right hook, and then I apologized to the family, and I said some stuff to the DA maybe I shouldn't have said, and then that was it.
How was it like when you put your head down that night? Go, I mean, what's that situation? You go right to prison, all from the courthouse? Do you get a stay execution?
Yeah, so I ended up going to Concord to get my number, and then I ended up going to MCI Walpole, when Walpole was open. And it was different, man. It was not like, you know, it was different. It was wild. It was, it's like what the max is now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Was there a point when you're there where it kind of hits you how different it is? Or did
Yeah, so it was white dude, because I've always been the type, man, and I don't be on that segregation shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't jack that. And so this dude I was cool with from the street, white dude named Mike, I goes to the chow hall and noticed that all the tables was like ganged up or colored up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I seen my man Mike, and I was like, yo, what up? And he was like, I was like, what? I said, yo, we done played Nintendo as kids and all that shit, you know? So then he happened to be in my unit, and I was like, yo, what's up, dog? What up, man? And he's like, yo, Nate, we cool, but we can't hang out. And I was like, why? He's like, because, I'm white, man, and this and that and the third. I'm like, yo, you my man, I don't look at the color. And I think that was the first thing that I noticed, man. You know what I'm saying?
So it was more than you can't sit at this table. It was like even just being on the same unit, you guys weren't really allowed to.
I mean, I was secure in that aspect of my life. I'm cool with everybody,
right.
But it was just that was just the way it was then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So how long did you stay there at Walpole for?
I was there for a while, yo.
Walpole has a notorious reputation.
Yeah, wilding, acting up. You know what I'm saying? You know how it go. You heard the stories, man.
How many years until you're able to step down to like a medium or something? 7 years, maximum security. Then you stepped out to a medium. Where did you go? Old Colony?
I went to Old Colony for like about a month, and then they sent me back to Walpole. They said that there was a conflict, staff conflict, and then they ended up sending me to Norfolk.
Okay.
And then when I was in Norfolk, I was able to blossom and bloom and grow.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so I was like, yo, man, when I went to Norfolk, man, it was an experience, man. There was so many programs, there was so many educational services, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just so much going on there, and it was just like, wow. And I was just gonna take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was people trying to do the right thing over there.
Yeah, and so some good men took me under their wing. You know, Glenn Williams, you know what I'm saying? Denny Zulu, Tommy Kuntz, Danny Curtis, Gary Stewart, Zachariah Ibrahim Bush. Yeah, just mad good brothers, man. Farouk, Larry Ibrahim Myers, Shorty Mack, Jabir, all these brothers, man. You know, they just took me under the wing and they helped me out, man. You know, China, all the,
So you get there, you said there's all sorts of programs, right? Do you think, how do you think the whole system would be if, all the mediums were like Norfolk? Do you think?
I think it would be great. I think that, you know what I'm saying, I just think that it depends on the director of treatment in the facilities. And I just think that Norfolk had a director of treatment Norfolk is the DOC's baby, you know what I'm saying? Malcolm X was there, you know what I'm saying? So, I just think that Norfolk is first class when it comes to programs and all that. Where Old Colony, it sucks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't do shit, you know what I mean?
What about Walpole too? I mean,
Walpole
that's not a
at the
medium,
time. Walpole at the time didn't do nothing. You went to GED on a closed circuit TV.
Wow. Why should prisons have more programs for the guys?
Because I think that programs is a form of education, and the best book one can read is the knowledge of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And through education, you're able to read the book about yourself and learn about yourself. You know what I mean? It's like you read a book and you see something in that book, and the question that you've been asking yourself is in that book, and like, wow, where you from? You know what I mean? Where can you go? You know what I mean? How can I establish a business plan? How can I establish a nonprofit? You know what I mean? Et cetera, et cetera. A lot of good men came out of prison and become millionaires or successful. Look at Wallow, you know what I'm saying? He came out the joint, you know what I'm saying? You the next Wallow, you know what I'm saying?
So you had just mentioned the book about yourself and learning about yourself. So I guess talk to us about some things you've learned about yourself throughout all those years of self-reflection.
Compassionate, empathetic. Sometimes I can be a little bit too sensitive. I'm very resilient, very strong. very calm, very understanding. I've learned a skill that many of us, it takes time to learn. It's called patience. I've learned all of that.
So, you had mentioned maybe a little bit too sensitive, right? Sometimes. What are some other things you feel like that you could work on doing all that self-reflection?
I think that sometimes, man, I need to just like, I don't know, like I want to do so much, and so sometimes I gotta like prioritize what comes first.
Spread yourself a little thin.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I do. Yeah, I want to say yes to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. So sometimes, I don't know what it is, movies, music, TV, there's a lot of glorification, right, about prison and jail. And there is something to be said for, at least standing, and not telling on nobody else and taking accountability for your action, right? But it's nothing to really be glorified about. We're trying to stay out of those situations. But, like, I like to ask, like, what are some of the bad things about prison? Some things that maybe a kid might hear and be like, nah, you know what? That's not for me.
Racism. You got some unjust. Some of the officers are racist. I mean, I had an officer urine in my food. You know what I mean? Called me a sand nigga before. So racism is prevalent.
So talk about that. Like, walk me through that event. How do you find out this officer urined in your food? Was it something you were in the hole?
I was in the hole, and I ended up, getting a tray, and it was pissing my food. You know what I'm saying? Just like that.
What was your reaction?
I was irate. What can you do? You know what I'm saying? At the time, they didn't have cameras on their shirts. You know what I'm saying? So they can get away with whatever. But I would tell them about racism. I would tell them that your health care is shoddy. You know what I'm saying? If you get sick, and if you get cancer or something like that, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna die.
Did you ever see any people have bad experiences with the health care in there?
I have a lot of friends that they had stomach issues, and next thing you know, they never come back. You know what I'm saying? You go in there, and you're supposed to get a root canal, and they just pull your tooth out. You know what I'm saying? It's just whack there. COVID was bad.
Talk about that. What's you guys locked in a lot, or were you in Norfolk?
Well, I wasn't in Norfolk at the time. I was in Old Colony, and we was locked up, man. We only got out for 45 minutes, half hour.
A day.
Shower, either choose shower or phone. So, you had to basically kind of tap dance and shoe shine just to get a little extra time. You know what I'm saying? But everybody was kind of scared. Some guys that were sick, some guys died. You know what I'm saying? On both sides. You know what I mean?
So talk about your experience in the hole and kind of some of the humanity issues you deal with in there, right? Because you don't always get all your basic human needs met.
Nah, I don't understand. Like not all officers are bad, but some of them are assholes. And it's like some of them, I don't understand. You get $45 an hour, and all you got to do is just open up a slot and pass a food tray or pass a newspaper or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And some of that doesn't go on. You know what I'm saying? During the summer, it's terrible. You got to lay on the floor. It's terrible in the summer with humidity and all that.
Yeah.
The food, you basically, there's nothing in the trays. You know what I mean? It's like the rice is like this much. You know what I mean?
So what about visits and strip searches? Is that something that you got to deal with constantly? Getting there, getting in front of another man?
It's very dehumanizing. You got to open up your booty hole and all that. You know what I'm saying?
So what are some things that you learned in there, some skills or some ideas, I guess, that I feel like could translate now that you're free?
I learned about religion. I learned a lot about Islam. I learned about Christianity. I learned how to cook a little bit. I make the best bam bams. Shout out to Mac Bone from Greenwood.
All right, so break that down, man. Break down the Bam Bam Mail, man, what you would do.
Yeah,
All right, this is interesting.
So my man from Brockton, Short Dog, used to tell me about Bam Bams and said Mac Bone makes the best Bam Bams. And so, man, you just get a couple oodles of noodles and some pickle and some onions and peppers and chop it up. And then get some tuna and some mackerel with mayonnaise and, you know what I mean? Put a little cheese squeeze in it. And get some bread and eat that bad boy.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
Yeah.
So what about now that you've been out? Like, what are some foods that you've been trying? You just been eating some of your favorites. You trying new
I had
things?
some Somalian food. You know, my bro gave me some Somalian food. You know, a lot of salad. I love Greek salad, man. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
I went to a beautiful restaurant called Park 54 in Boston. You know what I'm saying? I had a boil bag?
Oh, yeah.
Last night.
Boil.
I had some Chinese food, some cheesecake, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, man. You know what I'm
So
saying?
try not to go too crazy on all the food that's not too good for us, man.
Yo,
the body's the temple, but man, especially you deserve it though after that, man.
Yo, my man told me, my man Big C, shout out Big C. He told me, he said, yo, when you come home, man, there's a choice. He ain't lied. So there's so many choices. Sometimes you don't know what you want, so you just get everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I saw one guy had mentioned how overwhelmed he was with all the choices of deodorants. Like something so simple. He was like, I was literally sitting there like, damn, man, like, figure it out. But those are the little things too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw you and bro taking pictures at the gym, right?
Oh yeah.
So talk about that, man. Like for me, fitness is like huge. It's probably one of the most important things in my life. It's a mental health thing too that I feel like if I have like fitness, if I work out and go to work, I think everything else will fall in place. But talk about like your fitness journey and how much it means to like hit that gym and kind of get that out of you, man. Or is that not even what it's about, man?
It's essential, man. Like, you know, we work out in the joint. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
yo, you wasn't working out on the streets.
But I don't know, like that was the first time I was able to work out with my brother. Yeah. Because I don't know if you know this, man, but I didn't see my brother for almost 30 years. So when I came home, man, you know, he was crying, and you know, shout out to my other brother, Rock. I love you, bro. But you know, me and him, man, we have a certain love for working out, so we just said, let's go to Planet Fitness, and we went there. But working out, the physical is important. You know what I'm saying? Trying to stay abstinence from certain, I guess, pharmaceuticals, to say the least. But I'm not judging nobody. Everybody got their own walk, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I just choose to live a particular way. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might want to do drugs. My drug is coffee. You know what I mean? I like that latte, whatever they call that. Yeah.
So what about moving forward, man? What are you looking forward to with this second chance at life, this chance at freedom, bro, that at one point you thought you may have never got, man? And I know I'm sure it's probably a lot.
I think eventually, man, I want to just settle down. I want to get married. I want to give the woman that I married the best part, because I think in the past I never was able to do that. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good brother. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good cousin. I want to be a good friend. And I want to contribute, like I said, to society. Yeah. I want to be a spoke in the wheel and bring an effective and positive change, man. I want to eventually become a homeowner. And I want to continue my journey and my forever apology to my victims' family and to those who also have been affected by the realms of violence. And also maybe one day I'd like to be a recovery coach as well.
Absolutely. So you mentioned like giving back in the community and all that a few times. So like, why is that so important to you?
Because it's like, I don't have $1 million. There's no price on life, man. You know what I'm saying? And so the only way I can repay is just help as many people as I can for the rest of my life. Because, man, when I die, I'm going to have to answer to a lot of things. You understand what I'm saying? And so God knows that I'm doing the best that I can on this earth. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that, you know, he knows my heart and he forgave me and he'll see what I've done. And And also, man, I want my son to know, and my grandchildren, and those that I encounter, man, to say, you know, when they see, yo, listen, man, that brother Nate's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, he did what he did, but, man, he's out here doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? You know?
So, I mean, you had mentioned God, too, a few times. Talk about that. How
Yeah,
important is that for you, man?
Yo, God is the sole control of the universe. You know, you need the spiritual, you need the mental, you need the educational. You know what I'm saying? You need the physical. And if you have all those aspects, you can create that fist. And that fist, man, will just knock out any negative force that's standing, man.
Sure.
And that's where I'm at with that, bro.
I love it, man. So I appreciate you telling your story today, too, man.
Yeah,
Why was that important, man? You had reached out to me, bro. You seemed very eager, man. Talk about
shout
that.
out to my man, my business partner, Riz, man. You know, and shout out to my bro Life, man. I just figured, man, you know, I want to open up, man. I feel like you give the real content. And also what you do is something that I'm aspiring to do as well. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I've watched a lot of your material. You know what I'm saying? Even though we don't know each other, I think I know your bro that's behind the wall. And I just think you're a genuine individual, man. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate what you do. You know, I have no really reason why, you know.
Absolutely. So talk about, like, seeing your brother, like, he did his time in prison and all that stuff, too, and now he's doing great things with the music and really following his passion, man. Like, how is that, what does that mean to you, man? What's that feeling like, and is that inspirational, too, man? Because he's come a long way.
Yeah, he's growing. I mean, we all under construction, you know what I'm saying?
Always.
I just, I support my brothers, my other brother Rock, again, shout out, I love you, bro. But I shout out, man, you know, I mean, I support not just my brothers and my family, but I just shout out those who are doing the best that they can to better themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just love those who have overcome adversity.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure you have overcome adversity yourself.
Absolutely.
So I just like experiencing that with those people. You know what I mean?
So tell the people one more time about the YouTube channel, right? And what's that about, and what's your why, bro?
Yeah, so
give them the name first, though.
Yeah, so Beautiful Things Come From Struggle, podcast YouTube channel. You know, search Nate Benjamin, Ernest Nate Benjamin, and I got some content on there. I started it in prison, but in a couple weeks, man, I'm gonna do the same thing that my man B. Luke's doing. And I'm gonna interview people, but I don't have no studio. I don't got a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But
hey, I use the community.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm resourceful. Unfortunately,
I'm gonna start doing that. I got a couple of good business partners, man, Riz and my man Big G. You know, and you know, my man Ibrahim. You know, Larry Myers and my bro. And you know, what we're gonna do, man, is we're just gonna reach people and just talk to those who have overcome adversity, because beautiful things do come from struggle.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a woman who is giving birth after 9 months, man, and she's going through so much carrying that baby, and once that baby is born, that beautiful child is there, you know? And so I just want to kind of bring, you know, some topics. There's some topics on there now, but some more topics, and interview any and anyone. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. And, you know, I don't really care much about money and anything. I just want to just have fun and give back.
Absolutely. So why do you think it's important for people to tell these stories and for other people to hear them, especially people who may not be familiar with the prison system and the justice system?
Well, I think that, and I'm not trying to talk bad about nobody, and I'm not going to put names out there, but I just think that a lot of people are painting a false narrative, man. It's like it's deeper than the BBLs out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like let's put peanut butter and jelly on the bread, man. Let's keep it funky, man. There's too much fakeness around here.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be real. It's okay to be transparent. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's too much judging. Let's just be real. Like Park said, man, it takes skill to be real to heal each other. And so I think that that's important, that we just tell these real stories, these real narratives, man, so that, man, that germ can spread around. You know what I'm saying?
So if you had anything that you wanted to touch on that maybe we didn't get a chance to talk about, or some closing words for the audience, bro? Once again, your time is appreciated.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to just thank God, Allah, for saving me, for giving me an opportunity. I pray every day. Just thankful that He has given me a second chance. I want to, my heart goes out to all of those mothers and families who lost a child or a family member to violence. That's real. And I just want to just shout out to all those, to all the cities abroad, the Bridge, the Bean, Brockton, Broken, Fall River, New Bedford, so on and so forth. And I want to shout out to all the brothers, man, behind the wall in the state, the pen, and the counties, free the real. I want to shout out, man, my Ak, man, Zachariah Ibrahim Bush, man. Hopefully, man, you get that parole. My man Farouk, my man Jair, Mustafa up in Norfolk. You know what I'm saying? I want to shout out, man, G-Ball, Glenn Williams. I haven't seen him yet, but he's doing some wonderful things in the community. Short Dog from Brockton. My man Blizz from Brockton / Boston. My bro Ibrahim. You know what I'm saying? Yvonne Jones, my homie EQ. You know what I mean? And everybody that I've counted, man, Guido, everybody I've counted, man, on my travels, man, since I've been out, who showed me nothing but love. And to all the haters, if you keep hating me, I'm gonna just keep loving you. You know what I'm saying? That's real talk. And one more thing, man, to my business partner, Riz, you know what I'm saying? Big G, Molly G, you know what I'm saying? And last but not least, man, I just want to tell each and every one of you, man, beautiful things do truly come from struggle. You know what I'm saying? So, let's reach one, teach one, and love one. Peace.
You heard it right there from the God, Nate. I appreciate you coming through. The Bounce Back Podcast, remember, it is what it is. What's next is what you make it. And on that note, we're out of here. Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Bounce back, you got a moment. When they see you down, just know they love it.